in Beverly Hills. And we're going to kick off a test podcast here with all these good people. It's a coffee shop podcast, right? What's up, everybody? You can introduce yourself.
My name is Kyle Gerard, professional barista. Half of my face is in the frame, but it's cool. We're vibing, living life. It's podcast day, baby. All right, I guess I'm the host of this podcast now. What's my podcast about?
Podcast. Well, I mean, technically it's still a podcast, but your section
This
of
is
the podcast.
my
You get to name
podcast
it.
now.
Creative fellow.
I don't know. I don't know what to talk about. This angle is intimidating. I look like I'm looking down to the viewers. I feel very powerful, though.
You are
which is
very
good.
powerful.
I don't know. What do you want to talk about? What do you normally talk about?
What do we normally talk about? Well, I mean, we can start easy. It's Sunday here in the coffee bar, and you're opening it up. And
True.
how are you feeling about Series A coffee?
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling like we have some guests that are probably going to have to help, so I'm going to have to wrap this section up.
Okay. Well, feel free to drop by anytime.
All right.
He's in the show, folks. All right, so we're kicking it off. Are we gonna go sunglasses, guys? It's like a chill. This is a chill podcast angle, I think. Let me bring it in a little bit. All right, then we're open. Here we are at Series A Coffee. What's going on this weekend? For a timestamp, this is the weekend where Burning Man got swamped out. They had torrential rains, and they're all stuck in place up at Black Rock City. And if you're from LA, you either have a friend stuck up there, or you're at least 6 degrees of separation away from somebody up there. Let's put it that way. We go no glasses. What do you think, podcast world? We're going no glasses. That looks pretty good. So the idea here, if there ever was one, is people who come in can just hop on, grab a mic, test, and get in. It should be a good time. In the meantime, I got to get it warmed up with some big fancy open-minded thoughts. Let me get this production thing down. That looks a little better. Does it? No, it looks better. Looks better lower, right? There we go. Let people know they're free roll in. Okay, now we can get talking. Yeah, so the folks up at Burning Man, they're swamped in. Welcome in. It was a live cast. I can see your comments. We're here in Beverly Hills. Idea of this version of the podcast with John is that anybody can roll in and sit with me, and we can have a cool podcast. It's a good day. It's Sunday. We finally got some sunshine in. The folks up at Burning Man are swamped. We don't know how that's going to resolve. It's a mini drama down here in LA, or maybe like a mid-major drama. It's tough to tell. We'll fix it in post. So the idea here at Series A Coffee is that Derek, the owner, he envisions a content creator laden coffee shop. A little better. Sorry while I work out the bugs. Ooh, that actually looks better. Let's do that. No, a little less. Okay. Pilot episode, folks. I know. Thanks for flying with me. I know you had a choice of podcast to fly with, and I'm happy you chose this one. Now my giant knees are in the way. That's hilarious. Okay. There we go. But the sound sounds so good. So the idea so what Derek wants is for this entire coffee shop to be a content creation studio, essentially, where we have a bunch of podcasters and live streamers and general creators of content having a good old time in here simultaneously. And they haven't been open too long, but from what I've seen, they got a bunch of talent stacked in here, which is what you want when you have that type of vision, because that vision is obviously necessitated by you got to have talent. You may think it's easy for a lot of people to just talk, extemporaneously on camera for a long time, but I guarantee you it's not. I promise you, it does take some doing. And I was joking with barista that you just met, and we were talking about like, yeah, because I'm like psychedelic, open-minded comedian guy, so I can handle whatever over here. And then we were thinking like, you have like some chicks doing like a true crime podcast over there, and you got political debate going on in the corner, and then outside you got the crypto bros trying to sell each other on Bitcoin or ETH or freaking XRP or whatever whatever penny stocks they're trying to pump and dump like the big boys, hoping they don't get caught. Good luck with that. All in sort of a modern update of the Hollywood dream, right? That's why a lot of people are in LA. I mean, it's not why I'm here, because I was born in LA. I'm a native, so I see media and art and TV and film and all that as kind of like my birthright. If I wanted to make a run at it, and I happen to be born an artist / comedian, so that's why I'm here. But a lot of people do migrate here based on the Hollywood dream, and the Hollywood dream is really about self-liberation, self-awareness, self-activation, and then finding a commercial avenue to express yourself through some sort of discipline that you pick up along the way. Whether the common one here, acting, writing, that's like the most tried and true. Musicians, all kinds. There's all kinds of disciplines to express oneself once you tap into that yourself and your inner creativity. And we're like right at about 100 years of the Hollywood dream, because it was late teens, early 20s, or like late 20s really, when the first 5 or 6 studio heads migrated out from the other parts of the country with their Nickelodeons and whatnot to see if they could make a stab at making films a global commercial phenomenon. And then they came out and opened up their studios. And ever since, people have decided, hey, that looks like a fun thing to do or a great thing to do. And so now here in the 21st century, where I mean, it'd be fun. It'd be a good movie to go back, take like the amount of tech and studio creation stuff that a single like average 25-year-old middle class person has now, and take them back 80 or 100 years to the inception of the studio system and show them just what like one of these kids has in their backpack. Because they basically, I mean, I guarantee you there's like 3 people in this coffee shop alone who have more studio creation power in their backpack than all 6 of the major Hollywood studios had in all their warehouses in like 1930. Like 100% guaranteed. That would be fun. That would be fun to send a content creator back in time and see how that would change the course of Hollywood history. But here we are. We're in the 21st century, and people still trying to find the Hollywood dream. Now there's other avenues for it. There's independent creation. There's a million different ways to do it. A million different ways to skin the cat. Which can we just admit that's like a phrase that has to be removed from the lexicon? You can't say skin. There's more than one way to skin a cat. Who the hell finds out one way to skin a cat? Okay, that is like, who's sitting around and they see a cat and they go, you know what, I'm thinking about that cat. How could I skin that cat? I mean, because when those people make that comment, they're not saying like, hey, we should give the cat anesthesia and we should knock him out and we should really handle this skin in the cat situation like very delicately. They just act like it's just like another solution comparable to sweeping your kitchen floor. They say, oh well, there's more than one way to skin a cat. Like, dude, there are 0 ways to skin a cat if you have any amount of ethics, because that's an incorrect phrase to ever have in your mind. Anyway, so some people think there's more than one way to skin a cat. So here we are in 21st century Hollywood dream world, and there have all the means of distribution have been given out to the people. So theoretically, there should be no Marxism in Hollywood because all the means of production have been given to everybody. In fact, the major problem at this point is that the means of production are complaining that they don't make enough money. That's because right now in the middle of this, and we'll get to this in a moment, but we're here in the 21st century. All these people looking for the Hollywood dream, and it's been conflated at this point. And people have a lot more options than just having to go to one of like the 5 or 6 studios that previously existed. So there were probably about 70 or 80 years worth of business infrastructure that had been built around just these 5 or 6 studios producing the major commercially viable content. With there's always independents and there's always those things, but the 5 or 6 were really the ones that the legacy infrastructure, business infrastructure of Los Angeles was built around. And now that's all been blown up, right? Which is why starting in the 90s, early 2000s, a bunch of these corporations that were really little more than international, high-level financiers with no regard for humanity and no regard for the soulfulness of art came in and systematically purchased up all but one of the major studios simply to have them on their corporate ledger, not to actually do any good works or to ameliorate any sort of human condition, which is the aim of art. They just bought it to have it in the divested corporate portfolio, and now the entire system's gridlocked because the soulless corporate people who bought all the soulful products want to fire all the soulful makers and replace them with AI, and they don't understand why that's an issue. And they're so far removed from humanity by virtue of their success in the material world that anytime, they're basically Ebenezer Scrooge, and they're getting visited by lots of ghosts of Christmas future trying to tell them, yo, dude, if you do this, like, you're just condemning your soul, and there's no amount of money that can help you with that. And they're crashing the whole industry intentionally because they only see a business model, right? So right now in this moment, we're here in 21st century Hollywood, and we're trying to figure out how can we keep people's dreams together while these corporate raiders are trying to crash everybody's dreams. So freshwater is meeting saltwater pretty hard at the moment. And in here, there's a vision to create a content creation space specifically for podcasts, but other stuff that can really turn it into an energetic powerhouse and give people some hope, give people a place where they can feel like they can express themselves and put a lot of energy into the world. I think it's interesting to note that a lot of Renaissance era university scholars have studied the European Renaissance, and the majority of them attribute it to the rise of coffee houses in Renaissance Italy. Apparently, for like a long time, when the aristocrats were having their fact-finding missions where they sent out their explorers to find resources from the New World, and they would come back with different stuff, right? They would hoard a lot of the findings, and near the top of the list were coffee and chocolate. Like, the aristocrats kept coffee and chocolate to themselves for a very long time. I think it was like over 100 years, and which makes sense just in terms of logistics, because they were just, if you look at the size of the ships they were sending out, they weren't very large ships. They weren't like sending huge ships across the ocean. So when they came back with this stuff, they would come back in small batches. But at a certain point, coffee became accessible to the like mercantile class in Italy, and they started opening up essentially the first coffee shops. I forget what they were called, like salons or whatever they called them, but basically when they started having these coffee houses, there had been that was the first time these people started getting together, and the caffeine was an intellectual stimulant, and it was the first time that these people in these social circuits started having these free-form conversations, and these free-form conversations sparked the human consciousness and essentially led to the Renaissance, the Enlightenment, because the primary factor in beginning a widespread Renaissance or Enlightenment is that people have to speak to each other, because an exchange of ideas is what sparks, that's what catalyzes evolution in the groups of people, right? So like for me as a comedian, where like I'm not being funny right now, but like the thing about being a comedian is that it's sort of it's like a hack, it's a biohack into the human consciousness, where a comedian's allowed to insert any concept they want into the human consciousness, as long as they can have a punchline that makes everybody cool with it at the end. That's the gambit. You can literally say anything, right? As long as you try to get a laugh out of it, or you can get the laugh out of it. And that's one of the most important functionalities for the evolution of humanity that exists, is just free-form communication. Because everybody inherently has like a high level of intelligence. And if you can spark that high level of intelligence in other people, and you trust that like they're going to take off with it, the intelligence can run through the human consciousness in no time. Especially in this day and age where we have global internet. This is the first time that the humanity is essentially self-aware with external help of the global communication network. So something that happens in any part of the human consciousness theoretically can spread through the entire consciousness in less than 24 hours, which has definitely never happened before. And it's incredibly egalitarian too. It's outside of all the political systems. It's outside of all the economic systems. And you certainly see power structures attempting to stop that, because it's in their best, status quo, status quo. That's how they work. And they know that what the explosive potential is of this sort of like instantly global free speech. And we do too, and we should use it.
I'm not really a fellow anymore. I don't know what.
So, talking to coffee shops, it seems idle and passive and whatever, but it turns out that it's an incredibly important sociological factor for humanity. It's like my brother and I the other day were talking about so Italians, right? In Italy, they famously have a La Dolce Forniente, right? And Dolce Forniente it's like the sweetness of doing nothing. And you see these Italian dudes in the streets, and they're just like lounging around like stray cats, basically. And they're enjoying an espresso, and they're just people watching, probably catcalling women or whatever the hell they do. And they're just vibing. And you can look at that on the surface and go, oh man, they're just not doing anything, those lazy bastards. And like, but then you realize once you get into it, there's two things. One, there's really nothing better than just enjoying life. You're just chilling, you're taking it in, you're enjoying it. That in and of itself is awesome. Because if you walk down a street and there's nobody on the street, it's kind of lame. And if you walk down the street and somebody's like really having a good time, like chilling, it's better. Okay, so there's just that. Two, Dolce Forniente, it puts a person in a state to be able to receive inspiration. It gets you feeling good, it gets you receptive, and it makes it so that inspiration can strike and it can be carried out. And inspiration, it can be a solitary effort, but it's even better when it's a group effort. And everybody, when inspiration strikes, it is like lightning. It's an astral realm phenomenon where light codes, information codes, energies come in, and they can hit you in the crown, they can hit you in the heart, whatever, however you want to interpret it. And then it's like getting a zip file from the universe. You basically, when inspiration hits, you get information codes, zip file comes in, and then you just unpack it however you're constituted. And so the Dolce Forniante, it helps set the stage for inspiration. You know what I'm saying? So in terms of like this intellectual construct in here, the vision for the place is communication, mass communication, creativity, discussion, socializing, and then which naturally attracts inspiration. And then once inspiration hits, man, all your normal physics and calculations of what can occur are out the window, because then you get amplifiers, you can bend time space, you can have accelerations, you can have people have their lives changed in the moment. You can have spontaneous fulfillment, spontaneous contentment, spontaneous enlightenment, um, all these like really cool things. And then it also can set the stage for mysticism. Mysticism being the direct experience of the divine, which that's really like inspiration's kind of like first hits for free. God's like, if God were like a drug dealer, he'd be like, yeah, first hits for free. He's like, here's some inspiration. He's like, you like that? He's like, how'd you like living inspiration all the time? I'm like, yes, please. Like, how much does it cost? He's all, everything. So at the moment, we're getting these sort of intellectual constructs together, getting them in the air here. It's important setting the foundation for this place to be a wellspring of inspiration while people are trying to figure out their 21st century version of their Hollywood dream, which isn't just film and TV. It's just all those other things that you can put into that realm, living the dream. And living the dream is different for everybody because everybody's different. I mean, if you think about it, you got like animators, actors, writers, producers, art department people, wardrobe people, costume people, lighting people, theater kids, AV people, techies, agents. Like there's like all kinds of people. Don't forget the stunt people. Don't forget stunt people. Don't forget stunt people. And I'm trying Mike too. Don't forget stunt people. And anyway, so people chasing dreams, bro. That's how it goes. And in this mode, oh yeah. So back to the other thing. So in the midst of that, of like all these people coming here, trying to do their thing. Yeah, we got the strikes going on now, and I've been hanging out with a dude from the WGA who's one of the mucky mucks, and from the beginning, and he told me back in the day, like whatever it was, like May, he told me straight up the studios had told him they weren't even going to meet with the writers until around Halloween. It's like that was the writers, man. That was even the acting side, and I've talked it out with a bunch of industry people, and basically, there's just no way. There's no way that they're going to get this thing together anytime soon. And I won't break it all down, but it'd be a friggin' miracle if they're back in production before the end of the year. It'd be like extremely impressive. But here's the other part too. If you watch Fran Drescher's SAG speech, which was phenomenal, great job, Ms. Drescher. A lot of these actors, a lot of the well-paid people at the high end of the acting chain and the writing chain, they're people they've never bitten the hand that fed them, because they've been doing well. And this is a case where a lot of them, I'm not going to say everybody, but a lot of them, because they're being well paid, they never really looked at who they were working for. Like, didn't really give an examination of who their employers were. And a lot of their employers are the people that are on the, Maxwell Epstein client list, right? A lot of their employers were people that had no problem with what Harvey Weinstein was doing. And so this is the first time where they're starting to like meet their bosses. They're like, oh shit, we work for monsters. Like, yeah, a lot of them. That is not all of them. Like, if you're like studio exec, whatever, there's a bunch of you good ones, of course. But there's a suspicious amount of you guys in key nodes of the power structure to constitute a overall strategic control of the system, to put it mildly. And so a bunch of the actors and a bunch of the writers who have been doing very well in this life are now in a period of time where not only are they locked out of the work, but they're having to come face to face with the reality of who the people are that they're working for, and what the nature of the structure is that they're working for, and what the application is of their well-made, earnestly intended art, what the lens has been put over a lot of their projects is. Okay? And that's part of their awakening process to what the functionality was. Because, like I said before, man, like these soulless corporations rolled in and bought up the game. So they had their own agenda. And a lot of these people are finding out what that agenda is. And it's definitely incompatible with an altruistic, artistic vision of life. Once again, to put it mildly, it is what it is. So basically, we're in this window of time where it's chaotic and nobody knows what's going to be like coming out the other side. It's not going to be the same one. It's the old version's done. I mean, symbolically, when Will Smith assaulted Chris Rock at the Oscars, that was the end. That was the end of not just the Oscars, but that was the symbolic end of that version of Hollywood. There's just no way around it, because the general public just doesn't trust what's going on with it anymore, and the business models just happen to sync up with the fact that people aren't happy with it. And there's a lot of reasons for it, and I think you can figure them out. At the end of the day, Hollywood is an American invention, and America's key thing is freedom. Freedom, freedom, freedom. And if you come up with something that's not freedom, eventually it's going to not work, right? And that's basically what happened to Hollywood since the takeover, was they were trying to do social engineering disguised as freedom, and people smelled it out. And so those hippos are very hungry, ladies. They're super hungry. You don't want to know how they get them that hungry. You can play.
Are you in a movie?
No, I'm just doing podcasts. You can hop in. You can be a guest on the podcast.
Sure.
You can hop in. Here's your microphone. Hello, what's your name?
Hi, I'm Saba.
Hi, Saba. I'm John.
Nice to meet you.
Why don't you introduce yourself? Tell everybody.
Hi guys, my name is Saba. I'm a fourth year UCLA student studying biology. Currently, I'm enjoying my summer. So,
Nice. Good
yeah.
job.
What
What have you done this summer?
I've just hung out with my friends, traveled to Palm Springs,
Nice.
Yeah, just vibe.
What'd you guys do in Palm Springs? Just like tan and hit the buffet?
Tanned. Our friends DJ, so they were just DJing for fun.
Oh.
We danced. We're Persians. We're all Persians.
Okay, Persians in the house.
Yeah.
Right. There's no Iran. It's just Persia.
Yeah.
Take that. I got it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, you guys see you're smart and beautiful.
Oh, I appreciate you. Thank you.
And what else is going on today?
Just normal lifestyle stuff. Gym, school,
Okay.
friends,
Friends.
a good cup of coffee.
You guys have anybody stuck at Burning Man?
Oh my God. No, but I really wanted to go.
Did you? Was this a year that you were like targeting, like this might be a year that you go in?
I mean, yes, I thought that, but recently, like festivals and everything just get me so overwhelmed.
Oh, okay. I
So yeah, I'm just like, now I'm not in the mood.
I see. Here,
Yeah.
we'll go eye to eye. I'm not afraid of familiarity. We'll go eye to eye. Okay, well, so festivals are overwhelming for you.
Yeah,
So have you been to a festival?
I have. I've been to Rolling Loud, lost my phone,
Oh,
traumatized.
that's
yeah.
bad. Yeah.
I've been to different ones, like in Turkey,
Okay, we're at Turkey.
Istanbul.
Okay, I've been to Istanbul.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's great.
it's very nice. Yeah.
So many cats.
Yeah, that's
Right.
like the street pet in Turkey.
Yeah, they're fun. Did you
Yeah.
did you go down to the? I went down to the Roman aqueducts that they had, or the reservoirs below. Did you have a chance to get down there?
No, to be honest, I went to Turkey because all my friends are there and we just partied. And
Oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah. Show up to party.
Yeah,
Okay,
exactly.
I love it.
Yeah.
I was a party guy. I lived in Germany for 4 years I was a military pilot,
Oh.
and so I would fly during the day, and then I would hardcore EDM party all night.
Oh, love that.
So I'd just be like, fly,
How
take a
old
little
are
break.
you?
That was between like 22 and 26.
Okay,
So that was good prime party years.
that's cool. I love this little mic that
Yeah,
you
right?
have.
Yeah, it looks good on you.
Thank you.
She go around with the mic all day.
I'm gonna say bye.
Okay,
It's very nice meeting
it's an absolute
you.
pleasure.
Thanks.
Thank you. All right, and we're back. A lovely visit here in the coffee shop. So once again, everybody's trying to figure out how are we going to make this work? How are we going to make this transition work into the new version of however this content creation and this Hollywood structure is going to be? The good news is that there's never been more talent in the world than right now. There have never been more camera-ready personalities than now. There have never been more creators than now. There have never been more confident artists than now. The numbers are just like through the roof of how many people we have available to do good work in the world. So I think that the world's going to come up with a great solution for everybody. And I think all's well that's going to end well. We can adjust. I can adjust this so that you can sit here, and then I can adjust it. This is all free flow. I'm not going to be a hog. We'll do this. Plus, we'll start wrapping this one up. This was the pilot podcasting here. So the owner, he envisions this being a place where simultaneous podcasting can go on, a bunch of content creation. Everybody can just like blast out all their media, and which I think will work. I think it'd be cool. Oh, there you go. Okay, everybody. Well, that's the situation here at Series A Coffee. Thanks for joining me. Thanks to special guest Selba, and I hope wherever you are, you're having a good time. And I will see you again.